It shakes me to my bones. I never thought I'd say I was scared to be alone.
You know what's really weird? I got in this car, and as I was getting into this row roofline, my foot bumped into a third pedal, and my brain said, wait, that's not supposed to be there. Just kidding. I've driven the Mark V Supra a lot, and I've had a lot to say about it. But now we finally have the car that most of us wanted from Toyota, at least the transmission. So let's talk about it. The Toyota Supra now officially has a manual. It was a long time coming, and Toyota basically finally gave in, and they're like, okay, we have to do this now. So I have a ton of seat time in the Toyota Supra. In 2019, I drove it at the first press release and gave it my first initial thoughts review. And I liked the car itself, but I said, you know, I like the car, I just don't know if it's a Supra because of the BMW engine, etc., etc. We already know all this stuff. But then I did a lot more research and looked into it that Toyota actually messed with this engine a lot more than we were led on to be. Not to mention people were pulling 10-second quarter miles out of these things with barely any help at all from the aftermarket. But that was with the automatic trans, which honest is a pretty good transmission. It's pretty good. I gotta turn the AC on, it's hot. I still wasn't satisfied with my seat time in the Supra. I still felt like I needed more. So then I was fortunate enough to go on a road trip from Seattle, Washington to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where Toyota was kind enough to give me a press car for this road trip, and it was a Toyota Supra Mark V. And 30 minutes into my trip, I got a reckless driving ticket that was very bad. But the rest of the drive, I got to really know the Toyota Supra and also make some complaints. The main complaints I had while road tripping the Supra over about 9 days was I didn't like the screen placement on the dash because it's very easy to have a glare on it from the sun. The wind buffering, that was a notorious one where you roll the windows down and you get really, really bad wind buffering. Another thing was the visibility. Visibility is not great in the Supra. It's a pretty tight low roofline cabin. The more and more I drove the Supra on this road trip, the more BMW I noticed. BMW chime. Little things like that really could take you out of the experience the first time you ride in the Mark V Supra, because you might be expecting one thing and you get another thing. The GR Corolla is 100% a Toyota car, and the GR86 is a Subaru and a Toyota. However, the GR86 feels like a Toyota. For some reason, I think it's because of the interior. I truly think since it feels like a Toyota interior, that's why. Over these past 3 years of the Mark V Supra being out, there are some other things that I've grown to like about it. One is the closed deck inline six. If you see Frederick Osbo at Formula Drift, he has a dumb fast FD car built by Papadakis. The potential of this engine is incredible. And I understand that people wanted a sequel to the 2J. I totally understand. But the thing is that the car would have MSRP'd for over 100 grand if Toyota did all the development by themselves, or so the rumor says. This car, the moment you get in it and you bunk that shifter, it feels right at home. Now the Supra makes 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, and the 6-speed IMT transmission has rev matching. It's a ZF-based transmission. We also have an active sport rear differential. The manual Supra also has a 3.46 final drive, so it does create a different driving experience with how the power comes on thanks to the gearing. And gearing can change an entire car's character. And the Supra manual starts at 52.5, which honestly is a pretty fair price, I'm not gonna lie, for the premium materials and all that good stuff. Now, would I have preferred it to be a little bit cheaper? Of course, but who doesn't? So how is the manual Supra? Oh, okay. Yeah, this gearing is super different. The biggest thing I'm wondering is how big that gearing change makes this car feel. That's my number one thing. Because look, the auto is fast. I mean, a lot of people have turned them into straight drag cars already with the auto and had pretty good results. But for the normal Joe who doesn't really care about breaking records or drag times and stuff, I have a feeling that this is a redeeming quality of this Supra. Look, this shifter does not feel like it was just tacked on with nothing in mind. And what I also like is that when the Supra first came out in 2019, they got so many messages and so many people asking, so is there going to be a manual? That first year, believe it or not, they started R&D and development on the manual Mark V Supra. I did not know that. I thought they were like, suck it up. That's it. The auto is all you get. Thankfully, they listened to the people, and this car is more about having fun. I feel like the auto, yeah, you can daily drive it and everything, and if you want to just go straight lines really, really, really fast, that's great, but I have a feeling this is going to be even more fun to drive. It does not feel like 386 horsepower. It feels way more than that in my opinion. And the other thing that I was really concerned about is that this would just feel like an M2 or M3 manual because of the B58 engine. Thankfully, it does not. Thankfully, it really does feel like its own car. It feels lighter, more nimble, and going through the gears is extremely satisfying. I mean, listen how notchy that is. That's the shifter, and I'm barely putting any force on it. Oh, okay, that was a roll on and second. Whoa. Okay, here's the problem. Out of the gate, if this is how the Supra came, people would have bought this even more, in my opinion. This feels amazing. Like, if I'm a customer test driving, this feels so much more satisfying, dude. See, with the auto, you almost don't get the sense of speed. You know the car is quick and fast, but this makes it feel more dramatic and feel faster because you're in control. Okay, this gear ratio is so much better. Like, so much better. All right, you know what? We're going for it. We're doing it live. Whoa. Wow. Freaking, holy smokes. You might have seen on my face, I was actually legitimately surprised how different this car felt. Oh my God. Top of third gear feels like a freaking monster. This feels so different. All right, here's sport mode. Wow. How's the windows? The windows fixed? Dude, this car is so fast. I can't believe I'm saying this. Toyota Supra manual or Nissan Z? Toyota Supra manual. It feels more tight, it handles better on track, it's pretty incredible. So here's another thing. When I drove the Mark V Supra the first time, I didn't fall in love with it. I wasn't like, oh my God, I have to buy this car. I thought it was a good car. I enjoyed driving it. I enjoyed driving on track. but I wasn't like, holy smokes, I have to buy this car. I feel powerful driving this car. I feel way more confident in this car than I do in the Nissan Z. This feels tighter, it feels more confident inspiring. The motor is a powerhouse. It's still a 6-cylinder turbo and it's closed deck. You also have the ZF transmission, which feels amazing. I like the placement of it. I like how you have a gear counter when you go into each gear, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I promise I'm not saying this in rose-colored glasses. I've driven the Mark V Supra a million times. This feels so different just because of this. Literally, the satisfaction of rolling through the gears makes it so much more dramatic. And when you freaking go first to second and you feel the tires kind of haze and struggle to get that grip, and then they finally hook up, and then you go into third gear and then you just go into space. Like, third gear is tall, but it's ferocious. I know it has a BMW engine. Just hear me out though. If you were to drive this compared to the Auto kind of gave it away because that Auto is almost the same as all in the BMWs. So what I want you to do is imagine that we never knew that this engine was sourced from BMW. If this was given to us with the manual transmission and they said this is a Toyota inline 6, I would believe them just for the fact of this freaking transmission. It feels like Toyota definitely had their hand in it, and it feels like they knew what they were doing. It feels like a monster in comparison. Now, is it going to be as fast as the Auto? No, but I can tell you, as a driving experience around town, on canyon back roads, on straightaways, it is visceral. In here I have traction off but sport mode on. The weight buffer eight's still here. No! Oh my God! Woo-wee! I like the visibility a little bit more in the Z, but the Z is gonna be the same price. If you get all the options that you want with the LSD and everything, it's gonna be basically the same price. Now, does it have a Toyota motor? No. Is it a 2J? No. But, does this feel more like a worthy successor to the Mark IV Supra? Yes. This feels way more like it's in the same family. It feels way more like that. If you remove the BMW door chimes, the seat belt, some of the interfaces are BMW, that's pretty much the thing that's gonna stick out. But if you had an interior more like the GR86 that was nicer in materials, I guess you could say at this price point, even though the GR86 has a pretty good interior. But what I'm saying is, if you had a Toyota style GR86 interior in this with better materials, it feels like a Toyota, man. It feels like Toyota had their hand in the tuning. It feels like the gear ratio is on the money. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I came in, not cynical, but I was like, you know, it's not gonna be that different. It's gonna be the same car. Very much how I went into the GR86, where I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit better. I'm not even kidding how much more fun this car is to drive, in my opinion, with the stick shift. And not only that, this doesn't feel like a BMW stick shift where it has all that play. You know, it almost feels squishy. This feels notchy, a lot like the GR Corolla and the GR86. Guys, what do you think about the manual Toyota Supra? Did this bring any redeeming qualities back to the Mark V Supra? Let me know in the comment section below. And on that note, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.